probably frustrating is a good word for it. I think, we had our expectations to finish a little bit better than we did, but, we did get better, but I would say frustrating.
What's the first thing that you feel that this team needs to address this offseason?
Well, we got to do our evaluations and go through with everything that's been done, and I think we have to obviously work on our consistency as a football team. We did a lot of good things and we did a lot of bad things, so we got to iron that out. But we have a good staff and a pretty good relationship amongst our people, so we'll iron some things out.
Why do you call it frustrating?
You saw us play, and we had, 3 or 4 games. We came down to one play that we could have made a throw, and who knows what happens, right? But we expected better. We really did. Me and Corey came into the season not just hoping to make the playoffs. So when you just get one game into the playoffs, it's disappointing.
What are your expectations for next year?
You win more games than you lose. That's the start. And obviously, there's a Grey Cup sitting right in the stadium, so that's a good start.
Is a home playoff game still a main goal?
That was a goal this year, quite frankly, and we didn't reach it. So I'm not going to sit here and say we're 8-10 and we're better and we're all happy, because that's not the way it is.
Corey said that easily could have been 11. Do you buy that it easily could have been 11 one season?
We had a team that we could have won 11 games, but we didn't. So, yeah, I buy it, but the end result's the end result, and that's what we're based on. So, we got third in the West, but that's, like I said, that wasn't our goal.
How do you assess Corey's first season as head coach?
He's all right. No, he's been good. He's probably what I thought of, and maybe a little bit more. He's been very good to deal with. And we've butted heads a few times, but overall he's a good young coach.
How did he exceed your expectations with Travis?
He was really poised with a lot of stuff that went on when we were losing 5 games in a row. That can get to a lot of people pretty quick, and he handled it very good, and very level-headed, and very calm and very positive. So that was one really thing that I thought in Corey was really well handled.
What did you butt heads on?
Just weather.
Was it week-to-week roster thing?
No. It's just natural in this business. He'll play this guy, and I'll ask him why, and he'll think I should play this guy, and he'll ask me why. So it was nothing serious. That's just natural.
What about the coaching staff? Have you evaluated any of
That I leave a lot of that up to Corey, and he'll obviously ask my opinion of things, and we're in the process of doing that.
Do you regret bringing Robbie Bryant into the league?
Jeez. That's a good question, actually. I saw him running down the sideline, and I go, no, it's good for him and Kevin that they're advancing, and I wish them luck. I don't mean that, but...
What do you think of Terrius George's suspension today?
It's warranted. It's hypocritical for us to go and say that Darren gets hit against, the kid from Toronto, and for us to condone that. We can't do that, and it's the right ruling.
Even the hit wasn't like an attempt to tackle, either. That's part of it. You watch the highlights.
Yeah. It was a suspendable hit.
Was it his history that got him off of the 1-game suspension? Brandon Isaac making that kind of hit?
Terrius isn't that type of player throughout his career, but that's a bad hit, and it's obviously been noted throughout the season that those aren't acceptable. So, unfortunately, it happened, and that's just the way it is. But I can't comment on why it was not more or less, but I think it's fair.
How would you evaluate your own performance this year?
Not good enough. We didn't get to where we wanted to get to, so we have to be better. So, just like everybody, I think on the whole organization, I got to be better.
How different would things be this offseason compared to last offseason?
Well, for the first time in 3 years, we don't have to hire a head coach, which is great. Finally we get December to worry about our real team, and we're probably a month and a half, 2 months ahead of schedule from where we're normally at. So we're excited about that part, and I think it's a great chance for us to move ahead quicker than later.
In the post-season interviews, what did the players say about the new head coach?
Jeremy did a lot of them. I had some other commitments that day with the board and whatnot, but generally speaking, from what we hear, it was well received, and there's mostly positive. I think the whole organization's received very well. From the atmosphere with the fans in the stadium and everything, it's a pretty positive environment. So that's a good thing to build on.
How does it look on the free agent front? Do you have?
I'm still going through that right now. We've got a couple guys we've talked to that we almost got done, but we'll get to that over the next few weeks.
How many would you like to retain?
Until we have those decisions and discussions, I'm not sure that I have the answer for you. I think most, to be general about it, but there's going to be change. There's no doubt about that. Mike, I talked to him the other day, and I expect him to play another year.
Odell Willis?
Odell's Odell.
Corey said he wants smarter players, and off the edge, Terrius and Odell had their ups and downs, 6 sacks each, but a lot of penalties. Are they
Mhm.
smart enough and good enough to bring back next season?
Talk to us in a couple months, I'll probably give you an answer. I mean, they brought a lot to the table, and they brought some things that we didn't really want to be brought to the table, but overall, I think they were pretty good players for us. But depending what's out there in free agency and other guys that we can get, we'll make those decisions as we go.
With the difficulty of finding defensive ends the last couple of years, does that maybe put them higher up on the priority list to bring back?
No, I'm just going to call Eric. He'll give me a couple names. He'll help me out. But no, we just have to decide if that's where we want to go. And their experience is a factor that's a plus, but some of the things that you mentioned is a minus. So we just have to weigh that out and see where we go.
Did Odell meet your expectations?
Generally speaking, he did. I expected him to be sort of a half of a monster from what we heard about him, but he was a really good person in the locker room, and he brought a lot to the team, and his production probably isn't quite where we wanted it, but, if he makes 2-3 more sacks, everybody's not talking about it. So, generally speaking, yeah, he did.
What about Tyrone Brackenridge? He's a free agent.
Well, it's his first year as a starter, and I thought he played pretty well, so I think he's got to be considered to come back, but the business of free agency, who knows?
You had a lot of success with players bringing up from recruiting from those mini camps, particularly the one in Florida. Will you be doing that again?
Yes, we're deciding on that whole structure accordingly, but you'll probably see one down in the States, and we'll probably again do one in Moose Jaw or even in Regina, depending on the time.
How much of your decisions will be based on the expansion?
None. Our focus is on 13, and obviously it'll be in the back of our minds, but our goal is to win next year, period.
Hollywood wanted to change the rules back to where they were with 1-and-1s and then having that window before the option again. What are your thoughts on that?
I'll put it to you this way. I'd rather have Corey Sheets here next year. And if that thing's back in place, he wouldn't be. So I think you can figure out what I think of that.
Have you noticed any difficulty signing guys in Canada because they have to make a 2-year commitment?
No.
What facets of the team will you be emphasizing this offseason? Are there some major holes that you're really going to be concentrating on? I guess free agency would dictate part of that.
One of the things that comes to the top of my head when you say that, Rob, is that I think we need a returner, a full-time returner. Tristan did a nice job for us, but I think we don't want Weston doing it, so I think that's one area that we need to find as a returner. Obviously, the defense is going to be changed to some degree, so that'll come into play, but off the top of my head, I would say returner.
You looking to an American kicker to do all three?
That's possible, Carm. I think Chris Mila is still in the mix, though. I think he's still a good young kicker. Sandro did a nice job, so that'll iron itself out, but we're pretty high on Ricky.
When you talk about Corey having not scraps or anything, is it over the import ratio? Did you want an American tackle, for instance, or a DB in there?
I think the sign of a good GM coach is you do have those discussions, and I'm not trying to make it sound like we didn't get along, because we do, but there's always discussions every week, and the thing that we both know is that we're doing it what's best for the team, right? So I give him a lot of leeway, and it worked out well, and we never had a disagreement to the point of he would walk in here and I'd walk the other way. We're fine.
Would you go line stay with 4 Canadians, 1 American? Is that
Yeah,
what you think?
I could
So
see that.
Neufeld would be a main
He's
sign.
a priority for sure. That is one that we would like to get back for sure.
Craig Butler?
Craig's under contract, and I think he's going to see more playing time as we go.
What's the future of James Patrick after a lack of production?
James' probably best game probably was the playoff game, I think. So he's still a good football player, and we'll find a way for him to be around, I think.
Seriously, will you guys go after a rule change, giving you some control over practices and closing out the media for?
That's Corey's gig. I think you guys can go wherever you want to go. No, it's one of those things that you get closer to playoffs, people get tight, and there's a lot of focus on games and whatnot. But we understand this is the CFL, and there's got to be some policies that we have to abide by, and we know that. So I don't foresee that changing too much.
How
Do you-
important is it, Brent? Sorry, Rob.
Do you anticipate any coaching section in this team? Too soon to tell?
I think it's too soon to tell, but in this business that we're in, it'd be naive to think that there wouldn't be, just because of natural stuff that can happen. So I foresee some happening, yeah.
When you look at your defense, do you need more playmakers somehow? I mean, nobody with more than 6 sacks, nobody with more than 2 interceptions. Yet, it's the second-ranked defense in the league. It's almost a contradiction.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you look at when you look at even our secondary, we need a little more attitude, I think. We've got to be more, we can't get down ourselves after guys make a play on us, and then we sort of lose confidence. We can't have that, and not that we do, but we just need some more mentally tougher players back there.
Montrezl Harris fills that role, doesn't he?
I think that's a guy that could definitely be part of that in the future, yeah.
Chris McKenzie, a veteran of this team, Was he good enough this season to be a priority in free agency?
He was good enough, you know, like everybody in the organization. He had his moments that maybe a couple of games he wasn't as good as we wanted, but overall, over 18 games, he was pretty good for us. I think it's the first time he's played 18 games with Chris. Chris really developed, and he did get much better as the career went on, so to speak.
Are you happy with the receiving core? I know that there's a lot of receivers coming in during the offseason, sort of mix and match during the year, and then you have a pretty good West semifinal. How do you assess what you have there talent?
We were happy with most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. We feel with our core of guys that are around, we're going to have a group to pick from that we're going to be fine. That's not a big area of need right now. You're always looking to get better, but, you know, we got Brooks Foster on the bench, and Taj came into his own, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're going to be okay there.
Chris Getzlaff's performance this season make you, I guess, have the non-import receiver higher up on the priority list this offseason?
Well, we're anxious to get hopefully Rob Bagg back, so that'll help, depending on his knee. So Chris was an all-star. You guys voted him as an all-star, so he should be all right.
He's had a lot of drops this season, though.
He was an all-star, right?